Alright. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Uh, Welcome back to another episode of the Gomu Gomu No Talk podcast. I'm your host Lyle, and my co-host follow with me.
Hello, I'm Austin.
So this is the second episode of the Gomu Gomu No Talk. This is basically just an episode, a podcast where we talk bullshit around, to do discussions about anything One Piece related. Um, we're gonna do a chapter. So today we have a few things on our plate. We're actually
Hmm.
gonna do a chapter review. We're gonna do chapter review 1144, and
Yep.
afterwards as well, towards the end, we're gonna do a little One Piece draft. And
Yeah.
that's one I'm actually looking forward to the most
No,
from this
I'm really
episode.
excited, and I guess later we'll explain how we're doing that draft and stuff. You know.
Yeah. So before we get into it too, I also want to talk about we're now on Spotify, right?
Yep. I just added that to Spotify yesterday, so we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, and we're working on getting into Apple Podcasts. But that'll
Yeah.
come later.
Yeah. So everything will be down in the description. Like I said, we're on Spotify. If you're listening to this on Spotify or YouTube,
Hmm.
everything will be in and all the links will be in the description. And soon we're gonna be on everything else. Hopefully we'll get into Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz.
Hmm.
Shorts, all that shit.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to find us where, we'll just just talk about One Piece.
Hmm. Oh,
So
sorry.
I guess we could.
Also, something else in the description is there's timestamps, so if you're not caught up to the manga, you can just go to a timestamp in which you can just skip to the crew draft if you don't want to get spoiled. That's something that we added to recently.
Yeah. And also for anyone listening on Spotify too, you know, our YouTube, we do have some visuals on there, or unless you just want to be an audio listener,
Hmm.
but there's also that. But yeah, I guess we could get started on this chapter.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess so. Should we go over chapter 1143 first? Just a quick
yeah, we could
rundown
do.
of the previous
Yeah,
chapter.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I
Go
guess
ahead.
we could just talk about the key points in the previous chapter. I feel like the key points was really just finding out the devil fruits of the holy knights, the Saint Summers
Yeah.
having the thorn fruit, Saint Killingham having the mythical dragon fruit, and
Mhm.
how he's like a dream materializing man or
Yeah.
manifesting
It's
man.
we do see in the previous chapters before this we do see we can make like guesses of how it'll work. We do, like Austin had mentioned, we do see how exactly it worked, right.
Hmm.
St. Killingham's power I think is the most interesting out of all of them,
Yeah,
of how he could just
it has like the
manifest
most
anything that's
potential, I
dreaming.
think.
Like, and the one thing I do think is pretty cool, I don't know if we talked about this in the previous pod, in our recent one, is after they wake up, um, the material that comes in from the dream, it stays there.
Hmm.
So I don't know how much this will go into our the most recent chapter where where they start fighting the nightmare
Hmm.
manifestations. We'll get to see if there's any actual way. There has to be a way we can get rid of these beings, and it might be
Yeah.
similar to what we did with Sugar back in Dressrosa, where you just have to knock him out.
Hmm. Yeah, it might be
So
kind of like JoJo's where you have to actually get the guy, like they probably have to get Saint
there,
Killingham.
there's an enemy stand user nearby. And I can't tell where he's at,
Yeah, I don't
but
know what.
it might be
Yeah,
the
it might be the
dragon looking
dragon with
guy.
a helmet on.
But I do want to see how they actually do get rid of these dreams. And I'm not gonna lie, I hope it's not gonna be like another sugar situation where just knock him out.
Hmm.
This is how it goes. I don't know how else Oda's gonna do it. But hopefully we do get to see more of that. But also in 1143 as well, we get to see a little bit of what's going on with Luffy, Loki, Zoro, and the gang.
Hmm.
Um, we get to see towards the end of the chapter, we saw that Loki was talking to Hashirudin, telling him like, hey, like, you really believe that I killed our father? Like,
Hmm.
do you really think that I just did it because I wanted to? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm actually very I'm just to see how that plays out later on too. But that's basically the gist of what happened in the previous chapter.
Hmm. And I guess yeah, we can go to
So,
the next chapter. In which do you want to start off with the cover art? Since last week's
uh,
chapter didn't really have well, I guess it did, but it didn't follow
it
the
was
Yamato storyline that's going on.
it was the Straw Hat card chase. I mean, I like the last one, but this one,
Hmm.
listen, man, like I talk about this all the time. I'm so tired of seeing this
Oh.
one. I feel like this one's gone on for so long, but we do get to see the aftermath of Yamato defeating Who's Who and
Hmm.
saving these guys. Man, there's really not much else to talk about here. I don't know
Yeah,
what else
I just hope it's over.
she did, I don't know how much left longer she has in her little journey, right?
Hmm.
But hopefully it does end soon. But yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say too, I keep forgetting how big Yamato is compared to all these guys. Like, oh my god, like Yamato big as shit.
Hmm.
It's-
I know. She
but
really dwarfs all the regular humans.
yeah. Okay, so we're finally gonna get into this chapter. I really like this chapter.
Hmm.
Um, we're starting to see fights happening towards the end, and it's gonna be a big war coming, right?
Hmm.
But I guess to start it off, we the first page we see not Luffy,
Frankie.
Frankie and Ripley. Ripley showing Frankie this big this ancient building essentially, and we don't know what the building is, and
Yeah, I thought that was
Ripley.
interesting that like these people don't even know what this building is in their like
Mhm.
hometown.
And if there's anyone to find out to what it actually is, it could be Vegapunk and Frankie. We
Hmm.
see Vegapunk, or I guess Lilith, Lilith and Bonnie. They were just like fucking around. They
Hmm.
got lost, and they ended up getting found in this building as well. So one thing I thought about this was, Lilith, since all the Vegapunk satellites, they all share memories. None of them has ever been to Elbath.
Hmm.
So this is their first time seeing this building. This is their first time seeing anything on Elbath. So I'm really excited to see how we get to find out more about this building and all these other histories on Elbath. That there's a lot of
Yeah, because it seems like
that
Elbaf
we
is
get.
very old, and that even Lilith mentions that the building is at least like 3 millennia like years old.
Yeah,
So, in which I'm
some
just surprised
was it
nobody knows what it is.
3,000 years old? Like
Hmm.
what the fuck? And yeah, there's a lot of history within this stuff, and it's funny too because like I know like since giants tend they do live a lot longer. Their
Hmm.
history, since it's shorter between the generations, right? Uh, there's less people between each generation. Their history does like go back way farther, and they do know a lot more about going on in history. But
I feel like we
this
haven't
thing being
learned too
three thousand
much
years
about it
old is just
though.
crazy.
Yeah,
No,
I guess
but
that's what
we will
this
find out.
arc will
Hopefully,
be.
we will find out later on.
Hmm.
And other things too, man. It's like other than that, like this building is. I thought it was super cool. Like all like the flowers and the plants around surrounding the building, how it's growing out of it. It
Hmm.
just I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in the story. Um, and
No,
I really can't wait to see what Frankie and Vegapunk end up
yeah,
finding.
it's pretty sick.
At least if they stay on this island after everything that's gonna happen.
Mhm. Yeah, but unfortunately, they didn't really get to like see what was going on since
Stick
the
around.
nightmares started appearing everywhere, and they get interrupted by I think it's like the lightning nightmare from one of the
It's
children.
yeah, the lightning
Um,
nightmare. I thought that shit looked like it just keeps reminding me of Zeus,
yeah,
but
I feel like it's definitely based off of Zeus.
oh, 100%. But I'm just like, so we see after that, the nightmares start attacking not just like where Frankie and Frankie Ripley and Vegapunk are at. It's just everywhere around
Everywhere.
the island. Yeah, so we
Mhm.
see like not just the lightning, the Draugr
Yeah, in
start
the Western
attacking,
Village.
and we see also start the chapter two. There's Fenrir, there's Nidhogg, There's
Hmm.
also a ghost coming around as well.
Yeah.
But
You can see that
you
like
know,
they're everywhere on this island. They're not just like in
mhm.
one spot. So everyone's kind of
Oh my
dealing
god.
with the different nightmares.
Um, yeah, and like we see, I let's see, like go on, but Colin, the there always has to be in every single arc, like a little kid, I guess,
Oh
that just
yeah.
like reminds me of like young Luffy, right?
Hmm.
Or just like, listen, man, like put me in
Yeah, like
on
I'm
this fucking,
ready.
put me in the front line. And Colin is gonna be the that kid of this arc. He's
Hmm.
like, yeah, dude, listen, man, I'm the son of my boy of my daddy,
Yeah.
Yaban, and you gotta put me in. They're all like, yeah, 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 yeah.
Just
Sit
like
this
chill
one
out.
out. Okay,
Yeah.
sit this one out. I think it's very funny. He's like, I'm the son of Gibbon. Like, I'm a warrior too. I want to fight. And like,
Hmm.
the giant responds like, exactly, you're not him. You're not who we need right now. So you need to go out to safety.
Yeah, and I feel like
Um.
it's very fitting that the name of the chapter too. It's a time for warriors, which he definitely thinks it's his time.
Oh yeah, and dude. I mean, like these giants. He's like, I think like 20 something, right?
Yeah, he's actually pretty. I think
Yeah,
he's older than Luffy.
but man, I want to see when they start hitting this growth spurt because
Hmm.
he ain't gonna be that kid that young anytime soon.
Yeah, and I
Um,
felt it was interesting that it cuts to Gunko, and she's just jamming out, listening to her music, in which I
man,
think it's Saint Summers is like, or I don't know who, but they asked, like what song she's listening to, in which she says New World.
she's listening to Brooke's song, man.
Yeah.
Brooke. So people still listen to that Soul King. All
Hmm.
right, Soul King. Soul King is the Travis Scott of the One Piece world, or I guess the Jimi
Apparently.
Hendrix of the One Piece world, because she got her Beats headphones on
Hmm.
and she's just jamming out to that shit. I thought that was pretty funny,
No, I
but
thought that was a really nice like Easter egg thrown in there because I think it's also like the last song he performed at his final concert
yeah,
on Saboti.
hmm and like, hey man, this I don't know if that says anything. Do you think that Gunko might deflect from the God's Knights? Because I mean people are saying that like she still has like her humanity left in her,
Hmm.
right? She doesn't have the saint in front of her name. Like I feel like that's like
Hmm.
one big giveaway. So
True.
she might have been one of those people that got abducted, right? When they were younger and trained to be a God's Knight.
I could definitely
Um
see that.
it and people were saying like, this is like her still trying to maintain that holding on to that silver humanity that she
Hmm.
might deflect. I don't know yet. Maybe throughout in the story, she might see Luffy and like change her mind or something. Who knows? But uh,
Yeah, who
we'll get to
knows?
see later on.
Yeah, and I guess after that,
Um,
like you really get to see, Saul's still trying to stop these kids. And initially he
yeah,
tries to just block him from the first kid, but then you can see that like the kids are kind of stacking on top of each other and the thorns are affecting them. So they kind of realize that they can't do that, or else all the children are just gonna get hurt. So then
I
they
think
go
it's like just
from. Mhm,
whenever they start touching each other with the thorns, right? They'll like it just hurts them.
mhm.
So yeah, when they start stacking, it's just over for them. And then Saul tries to do a maneuver where he just goes to the back and tries to do that instead, but that shit don't work either.
Yeah, he
Because
he kind of gets
that's when
interrupted.
Fenrir pulls up.
Yeah.
That's when Fenrir pulls up, and it's
Mhm.
just like the Fenrir nightmare. Man, I think that one's the coolest one out of all of them, to be
I
honest.
like
But
that one.
uh, um, man, I forgot what show it reminds me of, but like I feel like it reminds me of those like I'm I don't know if I'm thinking of the right show, but like those creatures from from Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know,
The creatures,
but
interesting.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have to. I don't
Oh,
know if I
I
can
know who
pull
you're
it up.
talking about.
Yeah,
It
and it's
reminds me
just
of the
like
shadow, because
yeah, it's a
Fenrir is kind of like
shadow.
a shadow. It reminds me of, I forgot which one it was, but the guy who also like dealt with shadows in Full Metal
Mhm.
Alchemist Brotherhood.
Or
I can
it
see
might
that.
also remind me of like the all knowing, right? That
Hmm.
thing. Oh man, but it's just like
I can
I
definitely
think
see
it's super
that.
cool. But
Hmm.
Also, too, like they I forget which one whose was the Giants also like now know that there is like maybe two or three people
They're
that are behind
aware
all this. They're aware they
of
make
the
the
Holy
whole
Knights.
announcement, but I think, man, like, and this might just be me with my tinfoil hat on, but I think one of the Giants might be in cahoots with the government.
I could
I'm not
definitely
really
see
too
that.
sure who. I think people, there's people speculate that it's Ja Rule.
Oh,
I
interesting.
feel like his old age, he's acting a little dumb, but I don't think.
I don't know.
But like the thing is like, but the thing is like, what reason could he have, right? Like
That's what I would be interested in.
there has to be a reason why anyone would be in cahoots with the government. I mean, might be one of them wants the LBAF to be affiliated with the government. It
Hmm
could be, they're getting something in return, right? I don't know why. I don't. I want to know more about Ja Rule to find out why it might be him, because I feel like out of all of them, he's the one that acts super nonchalant about everything that's going on and kind of tries to play off the senile age that, oh yeah, I'm just doing this that, but like
Hmm.
they know that there's a guy that looks like Shanks. They tell everybody knows there's a guy that looks like Shanks. There's maybe one or two people running around here
Hmm
that might be doing something. Um and yeah, and we also see that's when also the other nightmares pull up too in other parts of the village as well. We see
hmm
Nidhogg, the dragon. We
Yep.
see a giant ghost. Then out of nowhere,
Yeah.
yo,
Dude,
we
whenever
got
Broggy and Dory hit that pose, where you just see their backs.
yeah. I just
Oh
I
man.
that's the only name that I feel like. I mean, I think they have other named attacks, but
Dude, no, I
when I
think
see
that's their
that shit
only
pull up,
attack.
I mean, like this might be the strongest attack in the whole series. I've never seen it
Hmm
fail. So
I know.
Hakoku, that's when they hit that pose, the Hakoku's sovereignty.
hmm
Like it's like who else gets hit by that? It's,
Oh, what's it called? Kid. I always think about
it's
like the anime, like Shanks versus
the
Kid. They ended with
yeah,
the exact same move, in which I'm actually so excited to see this in the anime because on that episode they made it look so cool. They did a lot of like impact frames and the blast. I mean, it just completely blasted the ship, and you can even see here it completely destroys the ghost and the dragon at the exact same time.
is that the ghost? I don't think that's the ghost.
Which one? Oh, no, yeah.
In It has horns. Oh, I guess it is the ghost because
Mm-hmm.
like it does look like a regular helmet, right? You see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It
No,
looks
I
like
can
one of
see
the.
that.
I thought I thought one of the giants got hit like friendly fire. It does. I mean, I don't know. So
I
yeah,
see what you're talking about. I think there's three things in that
because
picture. There's the
in
dragon,
the
the ghost,
previous
and then
in
there's
the
something else.
yeah in the previous page you see
Mm-hmm.
the one of the giants like attacking defending, he's like Nidhogg, like it's like
Mm-hmm.
attacking against it or defending against it, and maybe friendly fire, just Hakuku's Sever Sovereignty just gets clapped.
Yeah.
Um, to Dorian Broggy, man,
Yeah.
I love their return to this show.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and I guess like a lot of the characters, I think Oda's done a great job of like reintroducing old characters like Crocodile, and I guess now to Dorian Broggy into the story to try to make it seem like they're still like strong within the verse, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when you think about like people in Alabasta, in that arc, like it's like there's they none of them use hockey. They're all like comparable to like no gear, no hockey, Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like especially with what's going with how Crocodile's been reintroduced and Dora Bragi, I think Oda's done a really great job of just like them not being victims of being power cliffed.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they were
No.
introduced too early, to like how could they learn all these techniques and like how could they keep up with the characters
Yeah.
in the story now? With not everyone's got like every sort of hockey and whatnot, but I think the
It's
way the
definitely
power
nice to
system's
see
like
them
set
come
up,
back into the story and also just play like
it's
a really big
does it
part
not
in
be
the story as
irrelevant?
well.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
irrelevant. Yeah. that's what I'm trying to like
No,
find,
and
and then,
speaking about like coming back and not being irrelevant, like I love the way the chapter ends with just Gavin on the ship as well. Seeing his return.
yeah, no, yeah. When they reintroduced him into the story, as when they see Zoro and Luffy in the castle,
Mhm.
I was sad that that's all we got to saw at first.
I know.
And he even said like, hey, if you guys are still around, like I'll be here, and
Yeah, I
just
wish
left.
I
You know?
wish they showed him fighting. They kind of teased us, like it made it seem like they were gonna fight, but then nothing ended up happening. He just kind of gave up the
and
key.
and like now we get to see what's probably going to be a giant battle, right?
Hmm.
Because there's three gods knights on in the vicinity, in the horizon, whatever, on the island. We see the giant pirates pull up. Uh, we still have yet to see Loki, Luffy, and Zoro, Sanji come back from whatever they got going on. So I think
Hmm.
next chapter we're gonna see a lot more of
Yeah,
uh, Loki, right?
I hope
And
so.
Luffy and them, because we didn't get to see anything going on with them with here.
Hmm.
Um, and I think Oda, like, he's really setting up for this to just be a giant battle
Hmm. No,
between
I could
the
definitely see
three,
that.
and and like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, uh, I I hope we get to see a lot more too. Yeah, but
Hmm. But that was
in terms
pretty
of just
much
like
the
what I think,
chapter. Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess what would you give it your personal rating for chapter
Um,
1144? I
I
know you
think
said you
it's
liked it at the beginning.
I think it's like a solid 8.
Okay.
I like
Still.
I thought I'm a really big fan of like the art style of this chapter, because I
Hmm.
feel like the spread out shots of like especially like the last page with fucking the the Nidhogg just getting clapped along with the ghosts, and then we see everyone on the Giants Pirates crew. Another panel I really like was the first page with the old tree.
Hmm.
Um, and I also feel like it's really getting me excited. Like that's the big part of
Mm.
this chapter is it's setting up for
It's
the
definitely
battle
setting
that's
up.
soon to come.
Yeah.
So whenever we do get to see that, shit, it's gonna be crazy.
Hmm.
It's,
Okay.
it's done a really good. It basically like it did its job very well, of just hyping up for what's gonna happen next. And I
Hmm.
feel like after that, like it's just that's why
Okay.
for me it gets an 8. But
Hmm.
what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. My personal rating, I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I For me, especially with how the last chapter ended, like my biggest, like what I was most curious about was, of course, like Loki's backstory. I was really hoping,
Mhm.
and I know we said like last episode, like what we were expecting from the next chapter. And I mean, I'm not surprised that they didn't just jump right into it, but I was really hoping for this Loki backstory. Um, and especially we don't even
Yeah.
get to see Loki or Luffy in this chapter at all. So I was a little disappointed, but I still thought it was a really good chapter. Again, I think it did a really good job at setting up. I feel
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
it's all been set up right now, and we're obviously about to get right into it. I agree with you. Like, there's definitely going to be like some sort of war or like a battle coming up.
yeah. I yeah, that's I totally agree with just like I guess being disappointed with the lack of Loki involvement, but I just feel like with everything else going on, it made me forget about it
Hmm.
for a second.
No,
It made me
yeah.
forget that like Luffy even existed for a minute, because we get to see zero Luffy, zero Zoro as well.
Hmm.
Um,
But I don't know. I guess
there's
what do
no
you expect from the next chapter then? 1145, which again is coming out next week, right? There's no break.
there's no break next week. I don't know if there's no break after next week, but next chapter, I do think we're gonna see it's gonna be panned towards more of Luffy and Loki. I think they're gonna have more discussions of like what Loki's um like his intentions are,
Hmm.
right? Um I don't know if we'll get too more into the backstory, but I do think there's gonna be have discussions of if Loki's an ally or foe or not. And I
Hmm.
think in the end we'll see Luffy just saying fuck it, dude. Just we're gonna help him out. He's gonna get,
Yeah.
and then everyone's gonna be pissed
Yep.
because Loki's gonna be on some bullshit. No one's gonna believe him,
Mm,
right? And Luffy is very good at seeing the best in people and seeing everyone's intentions, and
and also just like turning
he's gonna
people
be like,
for the good.
yeah. So that's what I do think is gonna be the main gist of the chapter. I don't know what else is gonna happen.
Mm.
I hope we see some at the beginning. We'll see some Dorian Broggy fighting the nightmares as well before we pan into that too. What about
No,
you?
no, I agree. I really hope it just dives into Loki's backstory. To be honest, either that or just seeing Gavin and the Giants fight. That's like what I'm hoping for the next chapter. But realistically, I think they might slowly go into Loki's backstory or like maybe just I hope it pans back to them because I felt like leaving on that was just like such a cliffhanger. I just want to know like what happens next, or like what kind of
Yeah,
explanation is up. But
yeah.
yeah, I guess we'll see next week.
Mhm. Also, next week, I please no more Yamato backstory.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
more
no
cover
more
story.
Yamato, please.
Please
Cover
move.
art.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Mhm.
Um. So I guess we can get into our next
Yes.
topic.
Our next
This is
topic
the one
is the crew
I'm very excited
draft.
about.
hmm And I guess
I'm
I
very
can go
excited about
ahead and
this.
explain the format that we've come up with. So it's gonna be like a snake draft or serpentine draft, and I guess for the categories we have boat, captain, vice captain, navigator, doctor, shipwright, helmsman, and then cook. And before we started this, we kind of did a coin flip to see who goes first, in which seems like I'm going first. um,
Yeah. Just to avoid confusion, since this is Serpentine.
mhm,
Um, since Austin won the coin flip first, he decided he wanted to go first. So Austin goes first, then I'll go second, and I'll go third,
mhm.
and then it'll
And we'll slowly
snake
just
back to
fill up.
him, and then Austin will go fourth and fifth, and I'll go sixth.
Mhm.
So uh, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm very actually very excited. This is something I talked about last week, and we'll explain why we got things going on. But I think just the general rule is like
Mhm.
let's just keep it within the positions. We can't just say, "Oh yeah, I want Roger, Whitebeard, Shanks could be my cook."
Yeah.
Uh, like all this stuff, or Mihawk could be my navigator. Nah,
Yeah.
nah, nah, nah. Let's chill. And
And
let's try to also keep it more pirates only.
and yeah, we
Besides
decided
one,
pirates
I,
only
I'm not gonna lie, I'm
mostly.
cheating on one of them.
Okay, that's fine. I think it's fine to
I'm
cheat.
cheating on one of
Some
them.
of these were actually kind of were very difficult.
Yeah.
um, and then obviously for our drafts, like we had multiple picks for each one, just because I already know. Well, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure we have the same one for one of them.
Well, we'll
And
see. We'll
yeah, we'll
we'll also
see.
talk about who else maybe we might have wanted to think or
hmm
maybe wanted to pick.
hmm
And we're gonna go like free ball it too. So he can go captain first or he can go ship
hmm
first. Whatever he wants to go.
Okay,
Uh,
and I
just
wish,
go from there.
yeah, I'll start off with the boat. I think you can't be a pirate without a boat, you know?
That's true.
So
That's true.
my choice is the thriller bark.
That's on my list.
Really? Yeah, I
That's on my
know.
list.
I knew that that would be on your list. That's why I kind of picked it first. I was deciding between the thriller bark versus the polar tang, which is Law's ship, because I actually really like the submarine design, especially for a pirate ship. I think it's so sick. But I ended up choosing the thriller bark. Although I hated the arc, I actually think that the ship, which used to be an island, is pretty sick.
It's the biggest ship
hmm
in the whole show. Like when the Sunny like pulled like into the Thorough Bark, it was just like I think like I don't know if you want to pull up like a size comparison or something.
hmm
It is gigantic and it
Yeah.
acts as its own island too. But man,
hmm
the thing about it, the Thriller Bark, the vibes of it is off, right?
Yeah.
It's too fucking
I mean, I
gloomy.
would definitely add some
It
lights. I would add like fix it up a little bit. But
That's who your shipwright's gonna be, right?
yeah.
The shipwright's gonna have to help that out.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think I'll go next.
Hmm.
Um, hmm, who should I pick first? Okay, so from I'll go with the ship too.
Okay.
Since you already picked ship, uh, I have two options here.
Hmm.
So one of them was the polar tang
Okay.
because Law's ship is, dude. Okay,
I
that's the
think
only
that's a
ship I
fan
think so
favorite.
far. It's a submarine, right? We don't need that coding shit
Hmm.
from with the guy going on survivor to go under. Like we got the submarine or the
Hmm.
but the other one I was thinking of is Saber Zabek.
Oh, okay,
Where
yeah.
it's just a giant, and I'm not talking about the new one. I'm talking about before, before
Yeah,
in the time
the
skip,
OG
where
one.
this is a giant raft. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Polar Tang.
Okay.
It's
I like that one.
it's uh
That
it's
was
pretty.
that was originally
It's
my
very
first.
big.
That was actually my first one originally, and then I found out that the Thriller Bark was actually a ship because I thought it was an island,
Mhm.
in which it used to be,
And
but I just forgot that it was Moria's ship.
mhm. so so now my next pick, I'm gonna go
Mhm.
with the Doctor. Okay,
Okay, Doctor.
so the one, so the Doctor I'm gonna go with is Doc Q. and
Okay.
and mainly for one reason, because
Mhm.
I assume if I'm gonna pick Doc Q, Stronger comes along with me.
Okay. Yeah. I'll
So
put those two together.
if Doc Q is pulling up to my ship, so I gotta have Stronger too.
Mhm.
And Doc Q, his thing of being a doctor, I don't actually know how well he is as like in terms of healing people, but I do know one thing is he'll make everybody sick. I mean, dude, his
Yeah.
horse is sick. He's got the sick fruit.
Dude, he
Maybe he
looks
might
sick. Yeah. I don't know if I'll trust
maybe
him as
he
a doctor, to be honest.
maybe the sick fruit might be able to make antidotes of like, because it has every capability of just like making any disease, right? So
Hmm.
maybe he can use it as a way of like backwards engineering into medicine for the ship, for I mean for
Hmm.
everyone on the crew. But
Hmm.
like realistically, Doc Q don't give a fuck. He just wants to make everybody sick. But
Uh-huh.
I mean the biggest reason I wanted him having around was like, the sick fruit is sick, right? Is really cool.
Hmm.
And dude, it made Law into a girl. Like that's
Hey,
fire.
true. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
I
the
like
way
that
to
pick.
defeat Law is to make them into one, but also I gotta have my boy Stronger. All right,
Hmm.
that's best
Of
horse in the
course.
whole show. Also, the only horse in the whole
Yeah.
show.
No, I like those picks. Okay, I guess so then my next pick, um, I'm just gonna go with the captain. I think we might have similar people. So for my captain, I have to go with Buggy. You know, like
Oh, I was not thinking about Buggy.
really? Okay. Because I
Mm,
was thinking about it, looking through all the captains, and like unironically, I actually think Buggy's a good captain and a good guy. Like he's a people's person, Like you could see the way
mhm.
he treats his crew. Like, he can be selfish at times, but I think at the end of the day, he actually really cares for his crew. And I also thought another thing about him was that I think he actually has aspirations to becoming the king of pirates, which I think as a captain, like I think that's pretty important, especially if people are going to be following you. I think you need to have these aspirations. You need to be,
Yeah,
care for your crew, which, like, unironically, Buggy fits all of those.
and I've never seen him fail downwards either. So like he's
Exactly.
just destined to just make it into the world, and he's some dude like he's someone I'd follow.
Hmm. No,
We
for
don't know how
sure.
strong. Like if we were in the One Piece verse, we'd think he's the menace,
Hmm.
the buggy D clown, and it's just I guess he's him.
Hmm.
So that's your captain. Did you want to go
Yes.
into your next pick?
Yes. I'm thinking. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go Navigator, in
Okay.
which I selected Beppo. Why?
That's what I had. That's what I because
Really?
that was the first guy on my list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the first on my list. I knew we both have Beppo. I'm going with
Yeah.
Beppo because I just like Beppo.
Okay.
He just brings the vibes, I feel like, to a crew. I don't know how
Dude,
good he is actually at navigating, but you can tell he's loyal. So
oh, he's
I,
loyal
I
as
went
well.
Beppo. I just really like how his character looks. Um, and he's a real one.
I think like I'm just like imagining Thriller Bark with Buggy and Beppo in it,
Oh yeah.
and Buggy doing a whole redesign of Thriller Bark into a giant freaking carnival.
Yeah.
a
Oh.
buggy a
Yeah, and
buggy
Beppo's
like
one of like
carnival.
the circus animals, you know? Like on a
Yeah,
on like the ball walking around.
I think I might have sold. I don't know.
Mhm.
um. Okay, so I guess next
Mhm.
for me, I'll go with. Hmm, I'll go with Shipwright.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take the. I think I'm gonna take the better Shipwright. Like it's there's not that many options of Shipwright, so I'm gonna take it before you do.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Frankie. Um, any mainly because like he is strong in his own right. He does bring the vibes. He's a cyborg, and like I want to see what like things he could do with the polar tang.
Mhm.
Just because right now like the polar tang itself is just a regular submarine, right?
Mhm.
But imagine all the things Frankie does, modifying it, making that shit go faster. Maybe we'll see mini submarines coming out too with how he does with the Sunny as well.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of things like Frankie can do with the submarine.
Okay.
So I think so. Frankie's gonna be my
Frankie
shipwright,
for the shipwright. I like
and
that pick.
and
To be
also
honest,
mainly
with
because there's
shipwrights,
there's
there
no
was
there's
not
nobody
that
there's
many
nobody else.
picks. Yeah, there was like a list of like
Three
three dudes.
and maybe like two pirates.
Yeah, exactly. Since we were going pirates only, that one was really difficult, but I
I'll tell
planned around
you
that.
I'll tell you who I was gonna pick after Frankie.
Mhm.
But I mean, after you pick your shipper, I'm not going to give you any
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah.
And my cook, I'm just gonna go. Actually, no, I don't want to go cook right now. For vice captain, I'm gonna go with vice captain first before my captain
Okay.
because the person I'm gonna pick, I think, is able to. I mean, your captain is as good as how much your vice captain keeps you in check,
Hmm.
right? And I think this person is very good at his job.
I'm scared. I feel like we
Uh,
might have the same person. Okay, go
because
on.
I mean, they say he's just as strong as his captain too.
Okay.
And from the few moments that we do see him, he's like a
Interesting.
very well respected man, very strong, very capable of that position, and that's gonna be for me Ben Beckman from
Okay.
the Red Hair
Okay.
Pirates.
Okay.
And every single time we see him, dude,
Dude,
everyone
he's got
talks about
aura.
Shanks aura
Dude, no,
farming.
no. Ben
Ben,
has
ben
aura,
Beckman,
dude.
all he has is a fucking pea shooter
Hmm.
and
And a
and a cigarette.
cigarette. Like, yeah.
Like you're trying to tell me he just points that old ass gun onto Kizaru. Kizaru's like, oh shit, I know it's like Kizaru being sarcastic too, but it's like just the fact alone, like Ben Beckman's able to just even like go up to him,
Hmm.
without any fear. Um, so it does show that like how strong he might actually like really be.
Okay.
And in terms of just in the One Piece verse, like I think he might have had some things in the movies, but
Hmm.
uh, I'll have him as my vice captain.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually kind of glad you picked him. He was on my list, but he wasn't number one on my list.
Fine.
Oh, I got you scared me for a second. Okay. Let's see. What do I have left? I got vice captain, doctor, shipwright, helmsman, and cook. I'll go with shipwright because I also want to hear what your other options were. In which this was difficult. Like the list is not that many, but for my shipwright, I'm going Usopp, the OG shipwright.
I didn't think about that.
Really? Yeah, I was wondering if you. I was scared that you would have this because I didn't want to go Frankie, but I'm thinking Usopp, especially before Frankie. Like Usopp was the shipwright for the Going Merry, and I feel like you could, especially during Water 7, like you could see how much he actually cared for and like loved the ship, you know. So I
Yeah.
I think I would trust him to take. whether or not he would take good care of the ship, I know that he would care for the ship. You know what I mean?
Hey man, Thriller Bark might just be too big to fail. Like it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, Thriller Bark, Natty on its own, like in the story,
Mhm.
might already have something shit going on for it being so
Yeah.
big. So I think that's a great
Yeah.
pick.
That took a
Interesting.
lot out of me to think of, but so I'm going Usopp as my shipwright, and then next, uh, I'll go Doctor. Um, and there was a lot of characters I was thinking about, but I think for Doctor, I'm going Marco. You know, especially after the Whitebeards disbanded, he actually just became a doctor for Whitebeard's home village. You know, and you already know this guy is OP. You know, self healing like now
He's
he
the
can heal
perfect
others.
support.
Hmm.
He's the antithesis of my doctor.
Yeah,
He just
like I would
makes
trust
people
this guy.
sick.
Yeah, I would trust Marco. He's got glasses. Like, yeah, I'm going Marco
He's
for
got
my doctor.
glasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I can't get over the fact that in Marco's Phoenix form, he just has the glasses on.
Hmm.
I
I
always thought that was
know.
super funny. Um. All right. So is it my turn?
Yep.
So I got the vice captain. Then my shipwright is Frankie.
Hmm.
I got the polar tag as my ship. Um. For my helmsman, I'm gonna cheat here. I'm gonna go with Shiki. Um,
Okay. Okay.
Man, because like his devil fruit is crazy. He can just
Hmm.
make things levitate.
Yeah.
So from what I imagine is like if there's shit going on and like under the ground, just
Hmm.
just make the submarine float
Yeah.
and go through the air.
Bro.
So we've got both
Oh, I like that actually.
underwater and in
Yeah.
the air.
You got everything covered.
Just we got figured out. And then
Especially, yeah.
Frankie's gonna make it into an airplane. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Dude,
we've
Frankie's
we've
gonna
got
make the
we've got
polar tank into a missile, dude. Like the ship itself is just gonna become a levitating missile.
yeah, and it's
Oh, that's a
so
good pick.
that's so obviously, he's supposed to be just as strong as like Roger, right?
Hmm.
And like the old Roger Whitebeard and all those guys. He was also part of the Rocks Pirates too. He's very feared, and I'm not even thinking about the power. I'm just thinking about his level three. His level three is
Hmm.
gonna go the polar tank. I think the what's it called, the synergy between them
Yeah,
just makes it a lot
I can
better.
see the vision.
To see the vision. Um, so after that, I'm
Hmm.
gonna go with what do I have left?
I know you got Cook, you got Captain, you
I
got
got
Navigator.
Captain left, right?
Which one?
Navigator. I don't Navigator.
Hmm.
Man, I don't wanna. I feel like there's not that many options for Navigator as well.
Yeah, you could also go the
Um,
same one. To be honest,
what do you mean the same one?
you could also choose Beppo if you want.
No, 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 no. You already picked Beppo.
Hmm.
So since you already picked that, I'm just gonna talk about ones out loud. So there's Lafitte and
Hmm.
Nami. I think are the main ones
Yep.
that you could talk
I
about.
had
Or
Lafitte as the secondary for mine.
yeah, because I don't want to pick Nami.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Um, This the reason why I don't want to pick like I do want to pick Lafitte, right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, I don't really want to pick him because I feel like he would just snake my whole crew if given the chance. But
Yeah.
um, I think I'm gonna
Ooh.
go Lafitte.
Okay, I like that pick. I mean, that would have been my second
We
pick.
don't I mean we don't really know much about everyone on the I
Hmm.
mean everyone on the Blackbeard Pirates, but he does have some sort of winged devil fruit.
Hmm.
I know
Yeah,
that, and I love his design. He's a
it's pretty
very
cool.
mysterious man. I think out
Hmm.
of all the Blackbeard pirates, like he's the one we like really know the least about, especially since he's part of the original crew.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
he
think I'm gonna
definitely
go
has like a
Lafitte here.
mysterious aura, especially when he went to go see the elders. Like it
Oh
was
yeah,
just like, wait, like who is this guy? You know?
he definitely has some like sort of like crazy like stealth
Hmm.
mastery behind him in terms
Yeah.
like, just the fact that he was able to like go through the marriage law and pull up on the warlords and the other people, the warlord meeting.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so that's gonna be my navigator.
Okay.
Is the foods.
Okay. Okay. You
So
got a pretty good list
all I have
overall.
left. All I have left is the captain.
No. Oh, yeah. No, and the cook.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So then my next two. I'll go with the helmsman. And when I think helmsman, I think of like a burly man, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But my pick is not a burly man, and I kind of cheat a little bit. But I'm going Sachi and Penguin
Sachi and Fang for who again?
for the helmsman.
Dude. Okay, okay. Explain your reasoning why.
I feel like the two of them could could definitely steer a ship, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah. I especially since I got Beppo on my team, I think I gotta throw in Sachi and Penguin.
Okay.
That one was really hard
All
for
right.
me though. Helmsman picking. My other option, I just threw in Kuma in there for some reason. I think maybe because I think of big burly men. Like Kuma is just like was just the first thing I thought of. But I'm gonna go Sachi and Penguin. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm throwing in two guys, but I consider them like one entity. You know,
Mhm.
I've never seen them like separate, so I'm gonna count them as one. And then, ooh, okay, I'm just gonna pick my cook. And this is what I was scared of. I'm going the Gourmet Knight Strusen from the Big Mom
Gruesome.
Pirates.
That's the I saw him on one of the some of the lists
Mhm.
too.
And
Is
his devil fruit is
what
he
was
can turn
exactly?
his devil fruit is he can turn
Yeah.
anything into food. And I think as a cook, like what else would you need, you know? And not only that, but yo, this old guy, dude, is a A1 believer. You know, he's the one who found I think he found like Lin Lin originally. And I didn't even know, but he was on the Rocks Pirates with Lin Lin. Did you know that?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that he was on the Rocks
I think
Pirates. So
it was like in her backstory too.
it was in her backstory. There's like a
So
panel of like when the Rocks Pirates, and I didn't even know, but he was in there. And obviously after the Rocks Pirates, you know, he and Linlin formed the Big Mom crew. Apparently, he's a founding member. So I'm going with him. I think he would be a good cook. You know.
so it's my turn. So now I
Yep.
have to pick between the cook and the captain, right?
Yep.
All right. So my c- my cook, I'm gonna go with Lucky Roo,
Yep.
and I and only because if I were to go eat somewhere, right,
Mhm.
and I were to go eat somewhere, I'm trying to like and then like I have people to pick from between who I'm gonna take who's in for my food. When I look at Lucky Roo, I can look at him and say like this guy knows how to cook, cook some
Mhm.
mean shit, right?
Yeah.
Some meat. He knows how to cook a good. He probably knows how to cook a steak like perfection to the perfection. All right.
Mhm.
So me, I'm not just saying that just because he's big. I swear, I'm
Yeah.
not just saying that. But when I see, we don't really know like how else like how good of a cook he is. But I just assume that he's gonna be like a really good cook, so I'm gonna pick him. And
Mhm.
for my captain, I went with Beji.
For captain.
Uh,
Oh.
yeah, I went
Okay.
with
I like that
Beji
one.
because I love the structure he provides for his crew.
Mhm.
It's just like it's the whole family structure. You know, we
Mhm.
everyone taking care of one another. You don't come in dirty as hell. I love that vibe from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and
Oh, that's a
with
good
his double
one.
fruit, with his double fruit too, he provides like the perfect
Yeah.
defense and going
He's
around.
the king
It's
of the
I
castle.
king of the castle, the king of
Mhm.
the submarine, the
Yeah.
king of the submarine torpedo missile.
Yeah.
So
Also castle.
and I feel like with how he operates himself, along with working with Ben Beckman. At least you know, again, we've never really
Mhm.
seen much of Ben Beckman too, but it's like just the
They both
demeanor.
have
I
aura.
do.
Yeah, they both have a similar aura.
They're both. and I feel like they both work well together. And you never
And
know,
they're both
maybe like
smoking too.
they're both. Man, this whole thing was gonna be just based off. This whole ship's gonna be just like what's it called? Everyone's
Mhm.
smoking because I think Shiki's smoking too.
Mhm.
So everyone on the crew is smoking something.
Yeah.
So that's mine, captain. And there's like other people I wanted to pick as captain too. So like
Mhm.
the one person I wanted to pick as either vice captain or captain was Crocodile,
Okay,
mainly for
yeah.
just how
I
much
thought
money
about
he
that
has.
too. Yeah.
Because like dude, he's just loaded. Like it's just like
Mhm.
he just spawns in money. Like he just got the infinite money glitch going on
Yeah.
with Cross Guild and Baroque work. So that's one guy I wanted to think of. What were some other people you were thinking of as well?
Dude, I was also thinking of Kaido for captain. I actually like him a lot. I think he's just
Really?
like, yeah. Although he kind of treats some of the other people poorly, like the underlings, I think for his like main
Mm-hmm.
crew, he actually treats them well. Like especially like Kaido and King's relationship. I thought like I actually really like that between captain and vice captain.
Okay.
Um,
Um.
who else did you have? Well, I haven't picked vice captain yet, so I'm not gonna talk about that yet.
Oh shit! I thought
That
you
that's
had
my
to be
that's my
what you
last one.
picked.
Yeah. So
Okay,
you
okay,
finished
yeah,
your
you go,
list,
you go.
right?
Yeah, I finished my list.
And I guess
Go
I
ahead
could just
first.
go into the my vice captain, and I'm going Katakuri. I
Okay.
think this guy as a vice captain would be pretty good. I think I mean he's really strong. He's pretty like independently. He's actually like pretty top tier. You know, his hockey, his observation hockey, everything. Um, and I also think he's very loyal. And he
Oh
has
yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. He has like morals too, you know? Like even in his fight versus Luffy, like when Luffy got injured, like he injures himself, like this guy's just
Just
a
to
solid
put us
dude.
on an even playing field. No,
Exactly.
no. At a Curry in a different lifetime.
Yeah.
If you just like I don't think he might have aligned himself like with in terms of like what he wants with Big Mom, but just the fact that like that is his mom, that is the
Mhm.
creed that he's in. He has to,
Yeah.
and he sees like his fight with Luffy. Everyone loves Cat Creed. I'm actually
Mhm.
sad that he wasn't even on my list.
Yeah. I was afraid
With
you'd
Vice
put him on
Captain.
your list actually.
No, was that the person you were thinking of that like that we both might pick?
No. Okay, surprising. Well, for the boats, I knew that we'd pick the same one, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
Thriller Bark.
yeah,
I think
Thriller
Thriller
Bark
Bark
and
was
Polar
was my
Tang.
number one,
Hmm.
but like the reason why I didn't pick like Thriller Bark is I didn't think about like redecorating it.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
I
I would fix it up a little bit, you know, add some lights,
dude, but if
get rid
there's
of
anyone
the
in
debris.
this verse that can do that, it'd be Buggy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm thinking Buggy would just turn it into like a floating circuit, like a sailing circus, you know.
yeah.
But the one I thought we had the same was the cook. But I also had Lucky Brew as my second pick, to be honest. I mean, I would definitely trust that guy for food
Dude,
recommendations.
listen, if he
He's always
if I
eating.
was in a,
Every time we've seen him, he's eating,
if
right?
if I was
Pretty
at a
much.
barbecue and I
Yeah.
see him on the grill,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
it's like
The food's about to be
I,
gas.
I just know them glizzies and them fucking burgers gonna be slapping,
Hmm.
you know. And yeah, so that's why I picked him. But
Hmm.
I'm so happy we all just didn't pick Nami,
Yeah.
right? But for the Navigator, because I think there's a lot.
Dude, some of
There's
these
a few
options were
options I think.
really difficult.
Oh my god, like shipwright.
Shipwright was
I
hard. That's
thought
why I had
I
to
was gonna,
actually think a lot for to get Usopp, you know, because you when you look it up, Usopp is not included on the list.
yeah, I was gonna pick. I was not gonna lie. I was gonna cheat. I was gonna pick Iceberg.
Oh, really? Yeah, I also thought about that, but then I looked up like, oh, this guy's not a pirate.
And don't tell him that's someone else gonna cheat.
Yeah.
But man, I think like I feel like having Shiki as your helmsman just makes everything just hacks. Because
Hmm.
you would just have a
Oh,
floating everything. Like imagine
I
a
didn't think about
floating
that
thriller
one.
bar. Because it is just like gotta be
Oh
crazy.
man, yeah, that would be crazy. I feel like
Um
both of our lists though came out pretty well. I'm liking
mhm.
how each one looks.
And who do you think's gonna win in the battle though?
It depends. Yeah, I don't know. Yo, actually, I'm thinking
Listen,
about
I got
your
I got
floating
the
missile like submarine.
my floating submarine ship is it, I am at all corners.
Mm,
I can get you at
yeah.
every single angle.
I
All right.
think you would come out on top, but I think when it comes to vibes,
Yeah,
I think
you definitely
the
get the
Thriller
vibes. I ain't
Bark
gonna lie.
Circus, you know, we got Strusen cooking up for everybody. Usopp trying to fix up the island or the ship.
Yeah,
I feel like the vibes would
it
be
was,
pretty nice on this new Thriller Bark.
yeah. Man, we I would love to. I we gotta like go to on like Fiverr or something, or have someone commission
Yeah, I might
a
have to
buggy
chat GPT
version
this.
of
Yeah.
a buggy version of Thriller Bark. I just can't get that out of my head.
Hmm.
Um, but or the fucking a floating polar tang.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll cook something up after this.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, I guess that's really much it.
Hmm.
Um,
That's pretty much it for
I,
the draft.
so I mean, yeah, leave in the comments below, guys. If
Hmm.
anyone's listening here, just who's got the better crew in terms
Hmm.
of fighting, in terms of vibes. You know, what crew you'd want to be a part of too, and if you want us to do this again as well with like
Hmm.
different categories, or
Oh yeah,
do it again
we could change so many
without the people that
things.
we picked.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of stuff we got to go on, but I do know for sure next week we got 11:45 in the horizon.
Yep, and not only
Um,
that, the anime is coming back this Saturday.
oh
So
yeah.
I think we'll probably end up doing a anime review as well. I think that would be really
Yeah,
fun, especially since
I
we've
think
been
there's
waiting so long. Is
I,
it a double episode?
I think it's a double. I think it's a. Someone told me it was a double
I
episode.
heard that
So
too. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, we'll definitely be doing a review as well.
yeah. All right. So next week,
Hmm.
listen. Next week, 11:45 anime review, and hopefully we're gonna, we might do another little activity at the end as well.
Yeah.
Um. You know. Anything else? We got
Uh.
everything will be in the description.
Hmm.
In terms of socials, in terms of timestamps, if anyone wants to listen to certain parts of the pod. Um. And there's anything else you want to add, Austin?
I guess again, just follow our socials. You know, we're on Spotify as well. Everything will be in the description below. But I just want to thank everyone for listening, and until next time.
Until next time, guys. Peace.
Mhm.
All right. It
Oh,
was an
let's
hour,
see. Oh, yo! I messed up, Lyle.
but
Yo, I didn't click record.
shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
We might have to run this back.
Oh, wait, are you kidding me? Are you serious?
April Fools.
Oh my god.
I'm just joking.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I
uh,
got it. I got it.